Your question, the member from Windsor-Tecumseh.
Speaker, my question is to the Premier. Good morning, Premier. Ontario should and could have the safest roads in Ontario, or I should say in North America. My mistake. Yet so many families have been devastated by accidents and loss of life on a single part of the 401. So many, in fact, it's earned the disturbing nickname of Carnage Alley. Just ask the friends of the Payne family, or the Smolders, or the Brundrets. For years, concerned citizens have been calling for a median barrier between London and Tilbury. Speaker, when can we expect enhanced highway safety measures to be put in place on this stretch of the 401?
Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I know that the Minister of Infrastructure will want to comment on the technical issues, but Mr. Speaker, first let me express my condolences to the families, all of the families who have lost loved ones on this stretch of highway. I know that some of them are here today, Mr. Speaker, and it is an unbearable loss, and I want them to know that we are listening. I know that the Minister of Transportation is going to be meeting with them later today, Mr. Speaker, and we are going to be moving forward, Mr. Speaker, to put in place barrier on that highway, Mr. Speaker, and as I say, the Minister of Infrastructure will speak to the specifics. But I understand that the Ministry is working right now, Mr. Speaker, on getting started on building a barrier.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, these fatal accidents didn't happen in secret. They're well documented, and without new safety measures, they are likely to increase. The 401 is being widened in the Toronto area. More trucks will be heading to the 2 new border crossings in Windsor. We need to feel safe when we drive on the 401. Why won't the government listen and give us a timeline for median barriers along this stretch known as Carnage Alley?
Minister of Infrastructure.
Speaker, I thank the member for the question. Speaker, road safety is our government's top priority. And I know that my colleague, the Minister of Transportation, takes any concern about it very, very seriously. I'm aware that a number of advocates from this part of the province will be here at Queen's Park today to share their concerns regarding the need for median barriers on Highway 401 between Tilbury and London. My understanding is that Minister Del Duca will be meeting with a number of those advocates, including the member from Chatham, Kent, Essex, later today, who is also concerned with this particular issue. I know that that will be a very important discussion and that the minister will have more to say at that time. For now, I would be pleased to advise that more information on that will be provided this afternoon by the minister. He's taken very serious attention to this issue and is looking forward to meeting it with the constituents and the member this afternoon.
Thank you. Your question, the member from Chatham, Kent, Essex.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. They call it Carnage Alley for a reason. The stretch of 401 between London and Tilbury is one of the most dangerous roads in Ontario. About a month ago, on August 29, a pickup truck crossed the centre median of the 401 near Dutton, smashed into a van on the other side. 2 people in that van were a mother and her 5-year-old daughter. They died of their injuries, and the driver of the pickup has been charged. It has now come to light that the driver of the pickup was intoxicated with both alcohol and cannabis in his body. Nothing can bring Sarah and Freya Payne back. They died from their injuries. But a median barrier would do a lot to prevent needless deaths and accidents like theirs. And some of the Payne's friends and family are here today in the East Gallery. A median barrier would have solved that. So, Premier, when will the government act and build the barrier before another tragedy happens?
Again, Mr. Speaker, my deepest condolences to the families. You know, there are no words that can really express the sorrow at the loss of a family member, and we do work very hard in this province. We consistently have the safest or the second safest roads in North America, Mr. Speaker, and that has been for many, many years. But there's always more that can be done, and this particular piece of highway, Mr. Speaker, is is a place where there needs to be more done. That's quite clear. And I want to, you know what? I want to thank the member for Chatham-Kent Essex for being such a strong advocate on this issue, because he has been, Mr. Speaker. He's brought it forward, and he has been very clear about what needs to be done. So, thank you. I want the member to know that the ministry is actively working to install high-tension cable barriers in the grass median on this section of the highway of Highway 401. That is in the works, and I know that the. I'll finish in the supplementary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Supplementary.
Thanks, Speaker. Back to the Premier. Mark LaFontaine was killed in another isolated accident, along with his niece Alyssa in Carnage Alley. A tractor-trailer crossed the median and hit their car head-on. Mr. LaFontaine's sister, Denise, is here today. I commend the Minister of Transportation for agreeing to meet the concerned friends and family of the victims. I have petitions numbering over 4,000 signatures from across Ontario demanding construction of a concrete median barrier in Carnage Alley, and I will be reading that petition into the record this afternoon. My colleague Jeff Urich from Elgin, Middlesex, London, and I have been advocating for public safety for some time now.
Question.
So, Premier, what will this government do to make sure that real action is taken to build the barrier and make Carnage Alley safer?
Mr. Speaker, again, let's agree that a barrier has to be built. The ministry is working on that engineering right now, Mr. Speaker, so there will be a barrier built. I think that it's important that, yes, I think it's important that the families have an opportunity to meet with the minister, because there are, and I can tell you this from having been the Minister of Transportation for a couple of years, there are always discussions around materials, exactly what the specs should be, exactly what it should look like, timing. And so my hope would be, and I say to the member of Lambton-Kent Middlesex, that he and the families will be able, Chatham, Chatham-Kent Essex. Chatham-Kent Essex, that he will be able to be with the families, meet with the Minister of Transportation, and ask all the questions around what is happening in the Ministry of Transportation. But we agree a barrier has to be built, and it will be built.